Husband left our son without formula. Husband married 8 years, left our son 7 months without formula. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet and write out only the situation that happened today with no further relationship context. I am a breastfeeding working mom. I struggle to pump and am lucky to work mostly from home, so I nurse the baby every few hours. I had a 4 HR in-person meeting scheduled this afternoon. My husband knew about it as he would have to be home at the end of the day so our nanny could leave. I asked my husband explicitly to buy formula because we did not have any at home. He agreed to have it to the house by 1 p.m. when the baby would need milk. We discussed where he would buy it and what kind he would get. I got out of my meeting a few minutes early, in time to be home in time for our nanny to leave. I called my husband on the way home to let him know, but he didn't answer. I got home and our nanny told me he didn't bring the formula. He arrived home 15 minutes after he was supposed to be home, and when I asked him about it, he said, "I forgot, we have food at home." Our baby is 7 months old, he needs milk. I am so angry I cannot even speak. I have no idea how to process this or react. Am I blowing this out of proportion? What would you do? TLDR. Husband left our 7-month son with the nanny without any formula for 5 HRS. I had an office coworker who is over 450 pounds. I am not here to trash talk, just a story I wanted to tell and perhaps a cautionary tale. I used to work in a semi-sales environment office. We'll call my 450 lb plus coworker Jeremy because he mentioned liking that name. Jeremy was a really nice guy, bragged constantly about his daughter and grandson. Our office had a weight loss challenge, and he'd always say it's because of him, and I better not be the one leading our department in weight loss. I am fairly skinny. He was a great worker and got along real well with our clients, always joking with them and remembering the small details about them. He always talked about how he'd love to go boating like he did when he was a teenager. He loves lifted trucks and talked about how, when he loses the weight, he'll get green one and go mudding. He talked about how he missed fishing because he cannot access the spots anymore. He was excited for his grandson to get older so he could teach him how to fish. He would always be happy to help when you had a problem. Truly a nice family guy and coworker. Jeremy was in his mid-40s when I worked there. He already had a gastric bypass and had a stint on Ozempic. Unfortunately, neither worked. Despite his health problems, he still went into work and did his best. Today, I did something I never do. I looked through the newspaper and saw that he passed recently. I'm not sure why I am sharing this. I never kept in contact with him after leaving that job. I got home and our nanny told me he didn't bring the formula. He arrived home 15 minutes after he was supposed to be home, and when I asked him about it, he said, "I forgot, we have food at home." Our baby is 7 months old, he needs milk. I am so angry I cannot even speak. I have no idea how to process this or react. Am I blowing this out of proportion? What would you do? TLDR. Husband left our 7-month son with the nanny without any formula for 5 HRS. My hit and run sent a teen to a hospital and rehab for a year. Give me money to fix it. A young Michigan teen was hit by a driver just weeks before the start of school. The driver fled the scene, leaving the young boy on the side of the road. A year later, he is still unable to speak, but might be home by Christmas. After a year of hiding, she was finally caught and arraigned earlier this week. News media covering the story discovered that she had set up 2 GoFundMe pages to help get Grandma back on the road and for Grandma's car repair fund. Her car was damaged but drivable. Her GoFundMe campaigns were active up until the media reported on them and were taken offline shortly after. The suspect has been arraigned on felony charges, faces 5 years in prison, and her trial is pending. I got home and our nanny told me he didn't bring the formula. He arrived home 15 minutes after he was supposed to be home, and when I asked him about it, he said, "I forgot, we have food at home." Our baby is 7 months old, he needs milk. I am so angry I cannot even speak. I have no idea how to process this or react. Am I blowing this out of proportion? What would you do? TLDR. Husband left our 7-month son with the nanny without any formula for 5 HRS. What's a hack in your industry that customers aren't supposed to find out? A CT scan is significantly cheaper if scheduled outpatient instead of at the ER, like 5x to 10x cheaper. like $5,000 versus $600. It might even use the same CT scanner, the same doctor. The report might take an hour instead of a half hour to get completed. And my foot has been hurting for a week. I don't know why is not an emergency. Go through your regular PCP and have them order your X-ray. If you use Libby to download ebooks from your library to your Kindle, you can turn it to airplane mode and keep the books as long as you want. The next person in line is not affected. I work in pharmacy and just want to reiterate being nice to the tech's pharmacists in retail. Out of your blood pressure medicine, for example, no more refills on your last script. As long as you're nice about it, I'm willing to give a 3-5-day supply for time to get in touch with your doc to send us a new script. But come into the pharmacy being a B** yelling, shouting and complaining that it's our fault we didn't receive the new script. Oops, suddenly there's nothing I can do. A CT scan is significantly cheaper if scheduled outpatient instead of at the ER. Like 5x to 10x cheaper. Like $5,000 versus $600. It might even use the same CT scanner, the same doctor. The report might take an hour instead of a half hour to get completed. And my foot has been hurting for a week. I don't know why is not an emergency. Go through your regular PCP and have them order your X-ray. I work for an airline. I manage the development of the system our call center agents use. Please and thank you will unlock magical doors of help when you're on the phone with the agents or are at the airport dealing with airport staff. Simple politeness no longer seems to exist in these interactions. I've shadowed agents to understand how they use what my teams develop, and I can count on two hands in the 150-200 calls I've listened into over the last year where the caller was polite and acted decently towards the other human on the other end of the line. Woman left a note on my door saying she has a baby by my husband. I spent the last few years of my life dedicating every second to my husband. Had our son not too long ago. I let go of my nursing career to support him and our son. I moved my entire life to another new state to support his dreams. I came back to visit family and seen a note taped to my door saying she thought I should know my son has a sibling, and that my husband is planning on leaving me and taking custody of my son to be with her, and ended the note saying, I don't want to cause any issues, I just want our sons to know each other. Confronted my husband about it and gave me the same old sad excuses every cheater loves to give. Whatever I packed for my vacation is what I have to start fresh with, keep the house, keep the cars, keep everything. Let me have my peace. I methodically report all Instagram accounts under 13 years old. I am a girl in her mid-20s. Some weeks ago, I stumbled upon a reel of a very young girl, like 10 years old, doing a little dance. It had like 1 like and 1 comment. She had other videos about some of her baby teeth still having to fall. It reminded me of when I was 11 on Instagram without my parents' permission, and all the creeps I had in my DMs, all the D-pics. She didn't have anything in her bio like page managed by parents, so I reported her. I felt bad at first, but I was protecting her. Then I got another one, and another one again. Evidently, digging in their profiles to understand their age made Instagram think I was interested in this content. So I kept reporting them, and they get closed every time. I get like 1 a day. They're never managed by parents. I feel bad because I know they don't understand and they'll be sad, but it's the best thing for them. No, you hating children is not normal. I keep seeing this trend, mostly online, where people say that they hate kids, don't want to see them in public, they should stay at home blah blah blah, as if it's some kind of progressive take. Sorry, but it's not. It's just discrimination against an entire group of people. Children are a huge demographic of our society. They are literally people, even if they're younger and loud. If someone said, I hate people of different race, nationality, I don't want to see them in public, everyone would instantly call them out for being prejudiced and exclusionary. But when someone says the exact same thing about kids, suddenly it's met with agreement? How does that make sense? We live in communities. Communities include kids, adults, seniors. If anything, what's actually progressive is building a society where everyone has space, kids, parents, child-free adults, the elderly, everyone. Because children aren't going away, and acting like their presence in public is some kind of problem is not only absurd, it's actively dehumanizing. What's a thing that is dangerously close to collapse that you know about? IT IT knowledge, there are several factors at work here. Colleges are mostly a few years behind trends, if not more. So a lot of recent grads are way behind from the gate. Most colleges are now just shills for business licenses called degrees. You need this license to be allowed to have an entry job, and they know it, and charge whatever the market can bear. Pearson VUE has seized a huge amount of this space, which just adds to the cost, and tries to enforce certification tracks with government contract specs and all sorts of inroads. The cash cow of graduating college with six-figure jobs waiting for them is mostly gone. The junior roles have been outsourced overseas and have been replaced with people with multiple hats. There are very few middle roles, so the track of going from junior to senior has a huge gap that keeps getting wider. The senior roles are starting to age out. Many went into management, and some are retiring. Knowledge and experience is getting lost. Companies reliant on technology to survey are cutting technology costs as a cost center because of the pressure of rising capitalism always producing value year to year. Thus, they send more jobs overseas, and senior roles become too costly to maintain. We are incurring a lot of debt in aging infrastructure, and it is no different. There are systems operating high-cost operations in factories, transportation, and utilities that haven't been upgraded in decades, and some of the people who knew how it all worked are dying off. Eventually, there won't be enough senior roles to teach our younger people anything, and there will be a cascading series of knowledge gaps in current infrastructure, leading to huge failures. People say that kids today know computers, but they really don't. Most only know GUI and how to operate an iPad, not what makes the iPad work under the hood or how the internet works. The online revenue market, not just influencers, but ads in general. There has never been a proven ROI. Right now, most of it is an estimate. I was listening to a podcast where they said Ernest and Young was hired to do forensic accounting on money spent to AdWorks, and 15 cents out of every dollar just disappears. Nobody has a clue where it goes, not even Google. And more, data is being collected on real returns, and it's not lining up. What's a commonly known red flag in relationships that you don't consider a red flag? 1. Not sharing locations. It's just not necessary to me and can turn toxic very quickly IMO. I don't need to know his every move, that is what communication's for. If something along the lines of safety comes into play, I always know his last location, where he's heading, and what time to expect him home or where to hear from him. And all of this goes the same for myself. It's not reporting back to one another or keeping tabs, it's just communicating about our day, and I love it. I don't want to keep checking every 2 minutes while he's out and get myself worked up over nothing. 2. Apparently quite a number of people consider not having had a serious relationship by X age a red flag, which is crazy to me because finding love is something that depends massively on luck. Also, people always tell singles to be happy single and not focus too much on finding a relationship, because doing so gets you deemed desperate. But then when singles do that and don't happen to meet anyone, it becomes a red flag. It's like you're judged for not having been lucky enough to meet the right person, as if that's in your control. You can't win for trying. Inexperience and apparently having to teach someone how to have a relationship is something I see people talk about a lot. Frankly, you have to teach every partner how to have a relationship with you because everyone is different and nobody is psychic. Having opposite gender friends. Like, how is it a bad thing for a man to be trusted by a load of women? That's like a recommendation from women that he's a good guy to be around. Lack of social media. I barely post on social media. I send funny Instagram reels to my family, or I'll post something significant on Facebook, but I'm not online sharing what I ate every day. Not everyone feels the need to share the minutiae of their daily life for everyone to see. 3. Not having friends outside the relationship. I'm antisocial due to bullying, same with my husband, so we spend a lot of our free time together when not with our kids. We have friends of our own, but they're mainly work friends we see once in a while outside of work. I refuse to give money to a woman trying to get home, and I'm haunted. This was about 8-9 years ago in New York when I was 19-20 years old. It was 8 p.m. at night, and me and some friends were on our way back to the hotel. We were in Grand Central Station when a woman approached us asking for money for her train ride home. I forget, but for whatever reason, she didn't have her wallet. My friends didn't want to help her. I asked how much her fare was, and she said $18, which was more than I was comfortable lending to a stranger at the time. She offered to Venmo the money when she got home, but I refused. She started to cry and walk away. I asked if the station attendant could help, but she said she already tried and they refused. Back then, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but now I beat myself up not helping her. What was risking losing $18 if it could relieve so much stress and panic from her? I'm sorry, lady. I really hope you got home safe.